Hi guys, welcome back to our favorite podcast. And as you have heard, I have a special guest with me today, my very first guest. Woo! And his name is Isaac. Isaac, how do you feel being my first guest on my podcast?
My pleasure.
A man of little words. Well, wait, he's a debater. Just wait. All this is thing that he's doing like that is because he's still warming up, you know. So as you have all heard, the question we're trying to answer is: will you rather go for a master's and a PhD after your degree, or will you rather find a job? So essentially, is a master's degree truly necessary in Cameroon? And I am on the side of no. I believe that it is not so necessary for someone's career in Cameroon. And given the fact that I work in a field where, in order to be a certified agent, you will have to do either a master, you have to do a master so that you can be able to write the exams, then you can be able to qualify. But even at that, I still don't think that a master's is that necessary because I particularly found a job after my degree, and I think that that has actually helped me a lot more because I have a lot more working experience. I have practical knowledge than the theory that we are used to in class. And honestly, I just really think that getting a job after your degree is makes more sense for me. It teaches you independence. It teaches you a lot of things that, I don't know, getting a master's and a PhD will not essentially teach you. And honestly, like, does a masters and PhD truly guarantee you a job in Cameroon? Like,
Actually, it
really?
does. Actually, it does. First
Does
of
it?
all, I think you are getting everything wrong here. It depends on, I don't know, on the career field and maybe it depends on the career field and the individuals. Let's put it like that.
Mm,
Because take for example, yeah, someone who is in uh you are into IP, you get it.
mm,
So most of you really like after the degree, you can easily like take in like how do you call it, the exams, the IP exams, and
yeah.
you're in. But
Mm,
for somebody who is passionate about a particular field, take
mm.
for example, in this country, first of all, one thing that me I'm first of all setting up in this country that all of us know is that you cannot have a PhD in this country and lack a job. It's first of all impossible.
Really?
It's impossible because first of all,
Is
once
it
you
not a
have it,
teaching job that you have?
it's easy to have a teaching job. In this country, you know how much you know how much doctors earn. I know everybody is not really striving to be a teacher, though,
Yeah.
but I think at a certain level, you cannot have a PhD and be watching on the streets because the universities will run for you. You'll be like one hot cake.
But can't you get your PhD after you have found a job and worked in your job for some time?
You can, yeah,
Ah.
you can.
But do you need to go for it immediately after your degree? Is the question we're trying to answer.
You can too. Like I said, it depends on the person and it depends on
True.
how. Take for example, someone who is home who has maybe um who just had their degree, and I feel like it
Mm,
also depends on your age and how much pressure you feel. Take
mm,
for example, I just had someone who just had their degree, or let me say I just had my degree, and I maybe by the I'm like 21.
mm-hmm.
What's stopping me from getting a master's?
True.
What's stopping me from? Nothing is stopping me from getting a master's.
Mm,
Let's say by the age of 21 you have a degree, by the age of 23 you have your master's.
mm.
With that master's you can postulate for a job, or better still, after the master's you can still go in for a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is stopping you. Let's say by the age of 25 you have your PhD, or by the age of 26 or 27 you have your PhD.
But isn't this better for those whose family can actually meet up to their needs?
That's the point. That's why I say it depends on the individual. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say everybody has. Take for example, everybody comes from different homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just depends from what background you're from.
Mm.
Let me say someone who is from, there are parents who might not have, yeah,
Yes.
but they are willing to send their children right up to the level of a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Those there are parents who just want to fulfill that, like they just have that zeal, or they just
Yeah.
want to have that feeling that I have a PhD holder in my family.
Mm.
And there are others who, and I think this second category of parents, I think they are the best because after your degree, they are more of, I think you should get a job. then you can simultaneously do your masters and your job.
Yeah, I'm for this other
Yeah,
one.
most, I think that's the best. I think
Yeah.
because after a bachelor's degree, I feel like it's theoretical. So
Mm.
you need more practice on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have this degree, it's important to have experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to have experience because it makes no sense having a master's degree with 0% of experience. It's like you're entering the battlefield blind. It's like you're entering the battlefield unprepared. It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
entering the battlefield with theoretical skills, but you don't have, like, if they give you a gun, you cannot shoot.
True.
It's
And also I believe that many of those who go for masters nowadays don't even know why they are going in for masters. And I believe that when you get into the field, for example, I did law, so I got an internship at a law firm, and I got to discover that the business law that I thought I liked, I ended up not liking it in practice, and I swapped to IP. And IP was not something that I had known in my degree days, because that's a master's course. So if I did not leave and have working experience at a law firm, I would not have found my passion for IP. And I believe that many of us just leave school and we just continue. For example, you did law in bachelor's, you're just going to do law in masters, but you don't intend to become a lawyer at the end of the day. You don't even know what you're going to do with the law degree, but you just went in for the masters. Why? Because they should see you graduate or wear the robe and be like, oh, I have a master's. But then what is the master's for? So I believe that once you have experience, you've got into the market, you can be able to truly appreciate. Because now, if I go back for my master's, I can truly appreciate the master's degree now. I can truly appreciate the knowledge I will get from class. I'll be more critically thinking, like, what a master student should be is a critical thinker. But if you have not had experience, like you said, it's like they give you a gun, you know theoretically how it's supposed to be done, how it's supposed to be handled, but you've never shot before, so you don't really know what it's like to really have the gun in your hand. And it's for me, I think that in the hands of those people, a master's degree is as well as wasted for me.
For me, I feel like all degrees in Cameroon first of all, they are wasted.
Wasted.
Because all degree, honestly, because it's really, we have one serious problem in this country here.
Mm-hmm.
Because looking at Nigeria, for example,
Mm.
I feel like Nigerians are innovative. Look at
True.
their youth. Look at how innovative they get. Most of them are
Mm.
into entrepreneurship, and that's what we're failing to understand. The problem is not getting 1,000 degrees. The
Mm.
problem is, are there jobs actually out there? There are
Exactly.
no jobs, so
They are
there are no jobs, so we have to accept that fact. The employment rate in Cameroon is very, very low, very, very low. But I feel like one thing we have, first of all, sorry we're talking about our government, but our government, first of all,
Mm.
does not encourage entrepreneurship. That's one difficult to have. But above all, I think it's very necessary and it will be very important if we the youths, or
Mm.
they say the youths are the leaders of tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we the leaders of tomorrow should start looking into entrepreneurship. I feel like entrepreneurship has many opportunities. Because why, like, take for my was in masters one, my company law teacher, I always make reference to this woman, my company law professor. She was like, um the reason why she's teaching us company law is not for us to finish, like to have the master's degree and go out there looking for a job.
Mm.
Her aim is to make sure that when we are done,
Mm.
we go out creating jobs. I feel like that's a very key point she
Yeah,
made
I
there.
think that we need to pause and like, let him marinate in our souls.
Exactly. Exactly. We have to be, I feel like we should go to school now to be creators of job, like to create job
Yeah,
opportunities. We should not go to school because we want to look for jobs, because it will be very difficult. You know how many law graduates are out there. You know how many,
exactly.
I feel like the most sure field out there now is the medical field.
Mm.
Honestly. The most certain, like,
And engineering is a very fertile field.
you think.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
actually know many people in engineering degrees looking for jobs right now and they don't have.
Well, the truth is that most of us go to school to hurry and have the degree, the master's. But how many of us truly take our lessons serious? How many of us truly were very attentive to the teachers when they taught? How many of us truly strived for good results above the minimum? Most of us went to school and we tried to have the minimum to pass so that we can go to the next class. I feel like these things started from way from secondary school. You just get the minimum, the 10 average, and then you just jump to the next class. Just jump, you jump. And then you see it in even the GCE, people just have the minimum paper. Some of them go just for the minimum. And if you go just for the minimum in a country where everybody is striving for a degree, you will not be seen.
Nah.
For me, you will not be seen. Because
Mm.
if for example there if both of us we graduated with a law degree, but I came like first class and you came with what you barely, you had a bare average of two, is two a pass average, I think you had two GPA. Do you
No.
think when we step into the market, they look at my qualification, they look at my grades, they look at your grades, who would they entrust their job into?
I think you're still getting it wrong. Let's say you have that law degree, right?
Hmm.
You graduated with a 3.9 GPA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And someone else, let me say me, I have the same degree. Let's say we did marketing. You have the 3.9
Mm.
GPA. I have 2.2
Mm.
GPA. We're out in the market. But I have 6 months of working experience. You have zero.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, they'll obviously take you more
You
because
get the
you
point,
will
right?
know how to position
And
yourself.
this
Your
is one
language should be different.
and this is one problem we have because getting the opportunity to do the internships too is not easy.
That's the thing. Well, I think that it's not getting well true, but I think that most of us try to go for professional internships that are paid. Many of us don't want to go in for academic internships,
Honestly, I feel like
and I don't blame them.
you have to start from somewhere. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
start from somewhere because take for example, you graduated from school. You start with an academic internship first. Then
Mm.
after a period of time, you can go into professional. It's but normal. It's and if you're good enough, maybe the firm where you let's say the firm where you
Will
start
recruit
with
you.
does not.
Yeah.
Let's say they don't even recruit you. But even if it's an academic internship, you have nothing doing at home.
True.
You have nothing
Honestly
doing at home.
speaking.
If you have the time, I feel like you should just go, like, just go in for the internship.
Hmm.
Just that credibility on your CV, it's a lot actually. It's a lot. I, for one, I think it's of most importance because uh, I think on my CV there's about a year where I did like on my CV there's like a year or two that is void, and I feel like that it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
It hurts like
Uh,
when you go in to apply for a job, it's like, what
what
were
we're
you doing
doing.
during this period of time?
Yeah.
It really it kills your CV, it breaks your CV. So it's really something one should not joke with. I feel like even if it's an academic internship,
Hmm.
it's important, it's a necessity. So coming back to the topic, I feel like we've gone out of topic.
We must
Talking
book about so many things.
coming back to uh PhD or masters
So,
on
in conclusion, what are you saying? Like, will you rather, do you advise people to get a job internship immediately after that degree rather than chasing masters and PhD?
I feel like
Or should they?
it depends on the person.
Okay.
It depends on what career field you're into, and it
Mm.
depends on what you want to do with your life at the end of the day.
Mm.
Because someone who wants to be a professor cannot end at the degree level, or
Obviously
someone
not.
wants to be an academic has to go further into studies.
Even someone that is working to improve your rank in the office, you would need to go for further
Exactly,
studies.
it's very necessary. It's very
Yeah.
necessary. But
But
still,
is it important immediately after your degree? Is the question that we're trying to answer.
if you have the opportunity to get a job here,
Mm.
it's not important.
You advise the person to take the job.
However, the person to take the job and
Mm.
still, like, if the person can make efforts to do the two simultaneously, it will be of great value.
Mm.
But if you can't, um, I think you should go with the job because work experience always counts more than one theory.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, there will come a point where you will need that master's degree
Obviously.
unless you want to just stay
Where you are.
and not go.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, the master's degree is a necessity too, and necessity for career growth.
Hmm.
And it just depends. Yeah, it just depends. Or you can just write a NAM or something, or
Well, in NAM, you need a master's one at the end of the day. So,
you need a master's one for magistracy. That's the only thing for a NAM.
really?
Yeah, only for a NAM.
Ah.
Administration, cycle A, and maybe customs and all the rest. The highest degree in NAM is a degree. Once you have a degree, you're good.
Hmm.
So it just depends on what you want to do. Like I said, take for
Yeah.
example, most of these DOs you see, most of them have just a degree
Hmm.
because most of them entered with a degree. Yeah, but
Or A levels.
nah, DOs no.
But you can't you walk your way up?
You are we really talking about this topic right now?
Anyway, well, not to make it too long, I'm just going to conclude by saying for me, I am still on the viewpoint or standpoint of after your degree, take out time to do an internship in the field that you studied or get a job. Just get professional experience in the field because you might be surprised at how you either dislike the area of studies that you did or just how much you love it, or you might find your own niche in that broad market of things. I just feel like getting an internship or a job immediately after your degree will give you a better perspective on what you should study in your masters for me, because I feel like it's going to grow you up more than just leaving your degree to master. So that's mine, and I would like to hear from each and every one of you. What do you guys think? What viewpoint are you for? Like, are you one of those that will just continue like degree, masters, PhD, or will you like degree, pause, get a job, internship, and then masters and PhD? Well, notwithstanding, as Isaac clearly said, a master's, PhD is still important for career growth. So even those that have stepped out of school to get a job, to improve your standing in the office or in the job market as a whole, you might need to start considering going in for a master's. Or if you have a master's, perhaps get as many masters as you can in different fields. It would help you a lot. I know a lot of people that don't believe in PhDs, and I think I'm one of those that don't believe in PhDs. I believe in multiple masters if you can afford it, or multiple degrees if you can afford it. But I don't really believe in PhDs, except if you want to be a professor of some sort. So yeah, and so let's continue the conversation. I'm going to send a link where you can drop a voice message, your own comments. There'll be a Q&A that you can answer. And Isaac and I say bye. Bye.